In this video, I'm going to go over the Selene Media Converter for Linux users. And if you found this video on YouTube, I will provide a link below the video with instructions for installing it, or a variety of instructions for installing it and how to use it. Now, this is not a replacement for the help manual. I just show you some examples of how to use it. And I'll show you that in just a few moments. But let's first take a look at what it is, and then I'll show you how to install it. The Selene Media Encoder is an audio-video converter for audio and video files. It supports just about every video file format that you can think of. Now, the version is 17.7. It's kind of an older version. However, it still works on most newer Linux distributions, and I'm currently using 20.04 for the long-term support. Now, I'm not going to read you all these features, but it will encode a variety of video formats such as the MKV, the MP4, the OGV, and the WebM formats, and those are the very common formats. And it can even encode music from formats to MP3s, AAC, OGG, Opus, FLAC, and WAV. So as you can see here, it's a very powerful converter that it's not just a video converter, it's a video and audio converter. Now, the way that you download it for Ubuntu and Debian based users is you can click and download this file, and it will download straight to your downloads folder, or you can go to the TG 2008 GitHub webpage and scroll through and choose the version of your choice. Now, once you do download it, go to the location where you downloaded the file. In this case, it's the Selene version 17.7, the AMD 64. And if I'm not mistaken, I do think, since this has some age behind it, I do think there is a 36-bit, but most 36-bit systems are being discontinued for Linux operating system. Most of them are. Now, once you downloaded it, you double-click it to open up your package installer. Now, I'm using GDebi, and if you'd like to install GDebi on your Linux system, then you can go sudo apt-get install GDebi, and that will install the GDebi package installer. Once you double click it, it will open up your package installer. Just click your install package. It will come up with your authenticate button. Put in your password, click the authenticate. Wait till you see this part of the before you close the package installer where it says same version is already installed. It shows the reinstall remove package before you close the dialog box. The second method is by adding the PPA. You can just simply copy and paste, put that into your terminal, press the enter key or return key, put in your password, update your repositories, then go sudo apt-get install Selene. Reboot your system, or you can just put Selene in your terminal, and the next time you reboot your system, it will place the icon in your menu. So if you go see here, I'm using the traditional menu. I click on Application, Sound and Video, and there you see Selene Media Encoder. Now, once it's installed, the first time you run it, this is what it will look like. Now, mine's a dark theme on my system with the different, installed icon package. So your icons may look slightly different, and your theme may look different according to the theme that you have installed on your system. But this is the main home screen, or the default screen that you see when you load it up. You'll see that you have a folder which is presets, and this is very similar to Handbrake, that you can go in there and make some changes manually, but you have a lot of presets that makes it quick to convert on the fly, on the go. You can convert one media file from one format to the other, or you can load a queue of video format of files and convert, and it'll convert them one at a time. Now, you can also crop videos, or you can trim a video at the beginning or end, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a few moments. Now, as you can see here in this example, you can drag and drop into the program, or you can click the add button and select a video file, and if you realize you select the wrong one, click onto it and hit remove, and then go back to add. When you click the remove, it's not going to delete it off your system, it's just going to remove it from the program. Then you basically just choose a preset, like in this case, this is an MKV, so I would drop down and choose something like an MK or MP4, and then I would just hit the start button, and it would go and convert, and when it's finished, then it's completed. And that's where a lot of people end their videos, but it can do so much more. When I looked on YouTube and I saw that this program where people convert, it actually has a lot more features than just converting from one format to another, and I'll show you right here. Here is, like I just showed you, where you got the MKV. You could drop down on your presets and look at all your choices. Now, remember, not all of these are video choices. They should have had a tab of videos and a tab of audios. So if you randomly choose through here, you might choose one of the audios. But in this case, it's the MP4 that you're choosing. And so when you hit the start button, it will convert it with an MP4 that has these presets already within the conversion. So when you go check your media information, you'll see not only is it MP4, it's the H.264 with the AAC audio. Now, as you can see here, when you click the start button, you're going to see a progress bar until it finishes. Now, I chose to do a video that I made, so there's not going to be any copyright, so if I do demonstrate, but it also, the larger the file size, the longer it takes. Very similar to Handbrake. And if once it's completely done, your toolbar will change. If you notice up here, you got the add, pause, start, stop, which is even different while it's converting than your normal home or default screen. So your toolbar will change according to what you're doing or within the program. So when it's finished, you'll have a finished button, and you can click this folder here to open to your location. In this case, you can see I had the Nitro Share that was the MKV. When it finished, it was a Nitro Share MP4, and they're both clickable and they both look exactly alike. And when you right click on them and see the media information, this file was actually a little smaller than this file. Now this is the Big Buck Bunny, which is not copyrighted, so you can use without getting in trouble. I used this program to trim it out to where it's only like 10 seconds long, 19 seconds long, so that way it won't take long when I demonstrate how to convert. Now you can load a queue. We hit the add button and load several video files, and when you go to convert, after you choose which preset for each individual file, when you hit the start button, it will go through this one and then go to this one. It will go through a normal queue, as it will for most programs that you add to a queue. Now if you look here, you can choose to click on the arrows here to display more information. This right here is called the list view, when you can list what type of video, and you can see the resolution size and audio. You can see that this is a 2-channel at 48,000 hertz, and you can see 320 kilobytes, and you can see the videos 1920 by 1080 resolutions at 30 frames per second. So it gives you more information about your video, so that way if you want to choose a preset that you can see that's similar to your original file, then that way it won't take as long. When you go to start making changes, it will take a little longer. You can actually right click on a video file and you can choose to crop the video. When I mean crop, you can cut off the tops and the bottoms, or the left and the right on it, or you can trim the duration like I did with Big Buck Bunny to where I only chose 19 seconds out of like a 9 or 10 minute video, so you can trim off. You can remove it from your list. You can play the file that will open up its the video player, or you can look at the information about the video file. And here's an example of cropping the video. When you choose to crop the video, it will bring up a little editor, and it actually has a player, and you can choose which player in your settings. So if one player is not working, you can try the other. So you can hit the play button and it will go through and play, but I recommend to pause it while you're changing the size. Let's say, for example, that since I'm using Ubuntu Mate, I have my bar up here and the bar down here, but I only want people to see my desktop without the bars. I can come in here and hit the plus and it will start moving down, and then I hit the plus here for the bottom and it will start moving up. If I wanted to back up, if I went too far, I can hit these, and I could probably put 25 on both of those, but when I moved up on the bottom, it looked like 24 was his, but I could probably type in 25 and it would trim the top and bottom. If I wanted to take something out on the left and right, I could simply go hit click, 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 and it would move over. And I could go to the right side and click, 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 move over. And if I knew the exact number value, I could put the number value in here. Or I could say detect my borders. So if there's some black edges around it, I could hit detect and it would go and select, trim off the black edges. So that way I could do my conversion. When I'm finished, I hit the finish button, then it takes me back to my normal screen where I can then start the process. If I wanted to trim off a video, let's say that with my little, let's say this is a 7 or 8 minute, or it's a 10-minute video. If I wanted to trim off the first 2 minutes, I could put 2. I could simply hit the up and it would actually increment it. And you could preview just like you could when you cropped them. You can preview and see what it looks like. Let's say I cut my 10-minute video. I want to trim off the first 2 minutes. I can put the 2 in here. And if I wanted to trim off my last minute, I could put 9 here. So that way that when it does convert, it's going to start at the 2-minute location and end at the 9-minute, cutting off the last minute and the first 2 minutes of the video. So this is a very powerful program. You can go in there and see additional settings by clicking this button here, and your icon may look different according to your icon settings. But when you do click the application settings, it will come up with a settings dialog box allowing you to see the general and the tools tab. you can choose to save your video into whatever folder that you choose. This is the default folder. You can hit here and select a different folder, so that way when you're converting a video, if your video is already in the video folder, if you're converting it and using different variety of settings within the package but still using the same extension, you don't want it overriding them, so you might want to place it in a different video folder. So you can hit this folder here and choose a different location. If you want to back up your original source, you could click this to move your source to another location, so that way if you overwrite it by accident, you're not deleting or overwriting or destroying your original copy. But keep in mind, if you have a small hard drive, every time you move your source to a different location, it's using up additional hard drive space. So if you're small on hard drive space, you might want to leave that unchecked and just be careful that you don't overwrite. Now your view, you can choose a tile view or a list view by dropping down and changing that here. The next tab you click onto is the Tools tab. Here's what type of encoder that you can choose. Here's the player that you choose. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's an MKV player, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. When I tried that one, it didn't work. So the player that worked for me was the M player that allows you to play the video while you're editing it. Here's where you can change your language, and here's also where you can choose the file handle and delete temporary files after successful encode. The files that it creates temporarily, you can choose those up to delete those after it's finished to save space on your hard drive. You can click the drop down arrow to give additional information, to donate to the project creator, and to give you the about to see the version of it. Here, when you choose the information, this lets you look at what encoders are installed on your system. Now, I did install a few. I had most of these already installed, but the MP player, there's the two players, the media players, the M player and the MPV player. The MPV player, even though it works on my system, didn't work with this particular program. I don't know if it's because it's been updated to a newer player than what this was back in its days, but choosing the M player did work fine. But scrolling down, it shows you the encoders. If there's an encoder missing that you need, you can go out and look up the name of that encoder and install it on your system. I have all but two, so I don't have this one here, the Kate subtitle encoder. I normally don't use subtitles unless it's in another language where I need to read it. And then on the one which you see when it scrolls down in just a few moments, I don't have this one here, the VPA video encoder. Now, if you look here, you can click on the presets to edit your presets, to change what you see here, because when you click your presets, that's just something you click on quickly to convert from one format to another. You can change those preset settings by clicking the Edit Preset button. It will come up with your preset dialog box. You have 8 little tabs you can click onto and make your preset changes here. Now, you're not just changing video files, you can also change audio files. So here is a folder that I have of an album of MP3 formats. As you can see here, you can load all of them into the queue at one time. And let's say that I want to change it from MP3 format to the OGG format. So I just drop down and choose the preset setting OGG. Then I just simply hit start, and it will go through quickly and change these from MP3 to the OGG. And as you can see here, it goes, you can't tell it's going quickly, but you can see here it's converting, and these are loaded in the queue. It just goes in from the first one on in order down till it completes the last one. And when it's completed, it will say finished, and you can open the folder. When you open the folder, as you can see here, the original formats were MP3s, and when it's finished, the output folders, even though it's videos, by default you can change that output location. Since I'll convert more videos than audio, I have it set to a video folder, so it did put my songs in the video folder. I could go in there and change that. So if you're doing a lot more audio than video conversions, then I recommend you to change it and put it into an audio folder, since you're doing more audio conversions. You can go to the GitHub website, and from here there's a lot of extra things that I don't have on my website that has better, like frequently asked questions, the AAC encoding, the command line options, using bash scripts for encoding. I try to keep my website for beginners and intermediate users. These are more for the people that's had more experienced with using bash scripts. So you can click these links here if you're an intermediate or advanced users for additional help. Now, if you do want to remove the program, just simply copy this line right here, sudo apt remove auto remove Selene, and then just remove the PPA from your system, and then you're finished. Now, since I went to the website, let's quickly take a look at the program. Let me go to Sound. Here's the Selene Media Converter, version 17.7. This is the default look. Let's click Add. Now, I've already converted it to MP4, so let me go into my video folder, and I'll delete this particular program or video file here, and I'm going to choose the Big Buck Bunny, hit Open, and I'm going to choose the MP4 video, MP4 H264 AAC. I don't have to click onto it, but let me hit Start, and it's going to automatically place it into my videos folder. And the reason it is because that's the default. It's done, so when I'm finished, I can hit the Open folder, and here's the Big Buck Bunny MP4. There's the MKV, so I double click it, and as you can see here, it's very clear, and it's just as clear as the original file. So it's a great video converter, and I like the fact that it has presets very similar to Handbrake and without a lot of the complication look. So if you're intimidated by Handbrake, the Selene Media Converter is an excellent alternative for that. Now when you're finished, hit the finish button and it takes you back to the screens here. So let me show you some of the features that I showed you from the website. Here's the settings dialog box where you can change the folder, you can change the encoder, you can change the player. I think by default it's set to the MPV player, but I chose it to the M player, and it worked great. You can change your layers, language, and you can choose to delete the temporary folders if you'd like. Let me close this one out. If you go here, you can go to Information, and this shows you the encoders that are installed on your system. I'm just missing 2 that's on their list. You don't have to have all the encoders for it to work. Here's the different presets you have, and here is where you can change your presets, like the formats, the MP4 video format. You can go through here and choose the format, extensions. You can choose the presets, the names, the author, and if you look, that's not the same here. As each one you choose, it changes the name and information here. For audio, you can change the encoder. Video, more information, like if you go to 265, it gives you information here. You can go change your audio filters, your video filters, your socks. You can turn this on. You can increase the bass if you're working with music or audio files, increase the treble, the pitch, the tempo, so you can make changes to your presets of your audios. You can embed subtitles or choose no subtitles. And then here is your tag. So if there's tags within the original video or audio, you can copy the tag straight through to your converted ones. So let me quickly convert audio. So let me go to my music, choose the Riddle'em, and I'm going to choose all the MP3s and show you how quick it is. And it's going to put them in the video folder. All right, there it's loaded them. I'm going to choose from MP3. I'm going to choose the OGG, hit the start button, and it's going to go through. I shouldn't have loaded the whole album, but to give you real live, as you can see here, it's completed one song. It's going to go through the next. There's only 7 of them, so bear with me as it goes through all 7 songs. And I'm not going to speed it up to show you how quick the conversion is. Like I said, this is a lot quicker because these are very small file sizes compared to the video. So if you have a very large video like a movie or a TV show that you might have recorded on your DVR and placed it on your computer to convert, it may take a while, but you can set up a queue, and then when you're done, you come back to your queue, and it'll be placed in your folder from your output. One more, and then it's done. It's on the very last song. It's almost done. Now, when it's finished, it shows the finish button here, and you can click here. As you can see here, these songs, the OGGs, now were placed in my video folder. And if I double clicked on it, it would start playing the music just as if it would if it was the MP3 file. So let me click finish. So this right here is a great little converter if you're someone that likes converting audio and video files. You don't need 2 separate programs. This does both, and it's not as intimidating as Handbrake. If you're used to Handbrake and you're familiar with Handbrake, that's fine. This has a lot of the same features as your Avidemux, and the reason I say that is, let me go back and choose to add. Let me go back to my video. Let me choose like NitroShare, hit open, and when I do, if I right click on it, I can say to crop a video. Up here I can move this, and as you can see here, it's moving down. Let me pause it because it's playing. I can move it down, or I can simply type in a value, or I can come up here and type in a value as well. And I can go left and right, but in this case I'm not. As you can see here, this little line is above and below. Like I said, if you had black bars, you could check detect. When you're finished, you hit finish, and when you hit the start the process, it will crop off the top and bottoms. You can actually trim the videos. This is the ending point and the starting point and ending point. So since this is a 10-minute and 41-second video, I could say end it like at 8, or start it like 2 minutes into the video and end it like at the 8-minute point, and I could say finish. So that way when I start it, it's not going to just crop in the top and bottom, it's going to trim off the beginning and end. So this is a powerful little video and audio converter. So if you're looking for a little simple, easy to use video and audio converter, you might want to install Selene Media Converter to see that you like it. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and have a great day.